last day of 2019. Make it count, people, and welcome to The Breakfast Table. This is Good Morning Football, presented by Intuit QuickBooks. The old Breakfast Table, guys. Lots of different studios, many different New Year's Eve celebrations. Strong as oak.
Well put. Strong as oak, Adam. Just like you.
Good to see you guys.
That's right. Good to see you, too. Our stage manager just made a see you next year joke. We always love those, right?
Thanks for letting us start the celebration.
Check it off the box. And what do we do?
Oh, is that happening today?
What do you mean? Celebration early. Today's going to be a wild show.
Really, Nate? I looked at the work schedule for tomorrow. I don't see your name on it. What a surprise. Big show today. Big show. Guys, we have playoff football on Saturday. And not only that, we're going to see these guys on a wild card weekend for the first time since 09. Straights, what were you up to in 09?
Oh, some great things, Kyle.
Oh, I doubt that.
Freelance writing about the New Jersey Nets.
Is that true?
Oh, yeah.
I love it. And the Patriots will be playing. But Tom Brady says this is on me. This is my fault we're here. We're going to get into that. Is it? Is it not? How about this? Who is the angriest runner left in these playoffs? Now, Derrick Henry kind of goes without saying, right?
Yeah.
What about a man named Damien?
That's a pretty good angry name.
I like that name. I like the etymology of that name.
Oh, boy.
The Chiefs have the week off, which means Damien is resting. And here's a question. You saw the catches, but did you see the fancy footwork? Give me one more time for the 2010s. Toe drag swag. Nate's still obsessed with Jarvis and Odell. They were balling.
They lost by 10 to the Bengals. Nate came on the show yesterday raving about their performance.
Straight, they're balling.
They're balling, just like Jameis.
That's all right, Nate. Save it for tomorrow. I'll get back at Peter. A.J. Brown had a crazy toe drag swag. I hope that's part of it. Big show.
Damien, huh?
Damien.
Entomology.
That's right.
Makes appearance on the show today. At GMFB with your New Year's resolutions. Thank you for choosing us this morning. Time for the lead block.
Lead block.
We start in Dallas. Of course, we do hashtag free Jane Slater, but it's obviously a disappointing season for those Cowboys, and we sit here the day before 2020 begins, still waiting to hear what the fate of head coach Jason Garrett is. For an update, let's send it to our girl, Jane Slater, who sleeps at the facility.
Thanks, Kay. Well, it was certainly a strange day at the Star in Frisco. We were expecting some sort of word about head coach Jason Garrett's future, but we didn't get any sense of what that would be. Instead, he spent most of his day interviewing his players on this roster for their typical exit interviews following the end of the season. And then he met with the Joneses in the late afternoon. That meeting went on for about an hour, and when he left, I was told he characterized it as one where a decision hadn't yet been made. Now, he also had a team meeting with his players, and they told me it felt like he was saying goodbye without actually saying the words. He also used words like, "I'm proud of you," and "thanks for everything that you have done." Now, Cowboys PR came to us later in the evening and said that this building would not be open today and there would be no availability. So no word on when an announcement will come. And again, keep in mind, his contract runs through January 14th.
Slater, hopefully you're not in a sleeping bag somewhere in the parking lot over there in Frisco as we await more details. We do have Ian Rappaport, who is fully powered this morning. Thanks for joining us. And, of course, Happy New Year to you. What can you tell us about Jason Garrett's situation in Dallas this morning?
Well, it looks like it is in limbo because that's what everyone's kind of waiting on the decision. The reality, Kay, is the decision is already made. The Cowboys are expected to move on from longtime coach Jason Garrett. They just have not done it yet. You know, what Jerry Jones told Jason Garrett and what Garrett relayed to his staff yesterday, he just wants another 24 to 48 hours to kind of ponder this decision, make sure it is the right one, and also figure out kind of how to do it. Is Garrett going to get, for instance, a goodbye? Is he going to get the opportunity to address the media and talk about his 10 years and kind of wax poetic about everything that's happened, or are they simply going to issue a nice press release, hug, and have everyone move on? These are the things they're kind of debating now, but it does seem like it is going to be the end of Jason Garrett's tenure, and the Cowboys are still expected to have a coaching search, one that should include a couple college candidates and one that should be incredibly fascinating moving forward.
And hopefully those other candidates that they want to meet, the college ones specifically, aren't wanted by other teams, especially in their division, because they're already a bit ahead of the ball here. Let's stick in the NFC East, Ian. What's the latest on the Redskins and the Giants head coaching vacancies?
Well, we'll start with the Washington Redskins. They had Ron Rivera in for an interview yesterday. My understanding, though, it was not an interview. It was really a coronation. This is the guy the Redskins are expected to hire. Has not become official yet, but that should happen later today. I know that Rivera believed it went extremely well. Things were progressing very well. Really throughout the day, he spent a lot of time with owner Dan Snyder, which is important. Getting that fit, making sure that is right, is something that is essential. That should be finalized today with the first hire officially on the books. Ron Rivera expected to get that job. And then for the New York Giants, they started the process yesterday of putting out interview requests and really beginning their search among those who got slips to interview. Eric Bieniemy, the Chiefs offensive coordinator, he actually has one with the Carolina Panthers too. He's going to be coveted. Josh McDaniels, who they took a look at last time, the Patriots offensive coordinator, one of several for him. But Matt Rule does seem to be the candidate at this point that has kind of leapt to the forefront for the New York Giants search. He's a former Giants staffer. He's from New Jersey. Would seem to be a job he would strongly consider.
A strong personality. Of course, Josh McDaniels, as Peter Schrager pointed out yesterday, doesn't have a lot of time to head down to New York for an interview. They've got a game against the Titans this weekend. Wild card weekend, more on that ahead, more on the Giants. And Ian, we thank you for joining us this morning. But back to those Cowboys. Who said, if you love something, set it free? And clearly, Jerry Jones hasn't heard all the mosquito quotes, but never that one.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. Is Jane Slater monitoring the Jerry World chimneys for white smoke or something like that? Because it's time, and it's getting to the point where he's, Jason Garrett is his son and Steven's brother, and it's time to do the decent thing. If he's gone, okay, set him free. I'm sticking with my theory. My theory that Jason Garrett said the other day, I have a lot more coaching to do. Jerry Jones has said in the middle of the season, if I let go of Jason Garrett, someone will scoop him up in 2 seconds. I think there's a chess match going on here, it being that there's other teams looking for coaches, other rival teams. If Jason Garrett, let's say he's let go in the next 10 minutes, do you not think the New York Giants would be interested in Jason Garrett? Do you not think Jason Garrett would be interested in the New York Giants? An ex-Giant, Jersey roots, a guy who developed a young quarterback, on and on and on. There may be something here by which Jerry Jones knows he's going to break up with his wife, is already looking on Tinder, but is waiting until his jerk friend gets another wife before he sets her free so he doesn't pounce on her. That's my theory, and I'm sticking to it.
If you're worried about your friend pouncing on her, then don't break up with her in the first place. Don't end the marriage and keep him around.
They lost the spark, Kay.
Yeah,
Well, then let him free.
I would agree.
It's so interesting to me because here the writing's been on the wall for 4 weeks. Said if you don't make the Super Bowl, you're fired. And yet yesterday was a day. Yesterday was a day. There was 24 hours that you could have done it very clean, very seamlessly. No one would have said a word and said, well, wait a second. And we still don't have an answer. So I know it's a formality, but is it a formality? Are we sure Jason Garrett is being fired from the Dallas Cowboys? If Jerry Jones is still concerned about how he's going to wrap this up nicely and how he's going to say farewell, when on Thanksgiving Day when they lost to Buffalo and every report was anything short of a Super Bowl, he's gone. If he hasn't figured out how that goodbye is going to go yet, and yesterday wasn't the time, I'm not so sure.
You think he may keep him?
I think there's a possibility that this isn't done yet.
Scuttlebutt about his staff, and he told his staff look for other jobs, and that's
sure.
Right on the wall.
Scuttlebutt. Let's see him get fired before 9 years. I've been hearing Jason Garrett's going to get fired. So let me see that first. Secondly, which coach would step in for this thing right now? It's a very interesting pool of candidates.
Right.
So far, we're hearing 2 young college coaches who haven't won really anything.
Right.
Lincoln Riley and Matt Rule. They're walking into Jerry World and suddenly going to be the coach. Urban Meyer, to me, is the name that really makes sense if they're going to do this. He's an adult in the room. He's won in multiple schools. He's been around. He's dealt with all sorts of personalities, both players and administration. To me, short of Urban Meyer, I don't know who that job belongs to. And I don't see Jerry going the Greg Roman, Wink Martindale, here's a good Robert Saleh route. I see him going big splash. So short of Urban Meyer, I'm not sure who else makes sense. I don't see Lincoln Riley and Matt Rule taking the Cowboys job. And I don't see Jerry looking to court them. We would have known that by now.
And the job's not available yet.
The job's not available.
It may never be, right?
Yeah, to your point, Strakes, if they're looking at the situation and you're seeing Jason Garrett still holding on to his job, is there a possibility that he stays? Let me ask you a question. If I ask you what was the biggest disappointment for the Cowboys, I think you would say it's the offense. It's too much talent. Dak Prescott, Zeke Elliott, Amari Cooper, the list goes on, right? I know for sure that Jason Garrett wasn't the main play caller this year. So maybe there is a question where Jerry Jones is asking Jason Garrett, all right, I keep you for 1 more year. You take complete control of the play calling.
Clean house.
And then let's see what happened. I'm just saying, I get what you're saying when it comes to maybe they're not going to fire him. It's a strong possibility. But we saw last year, offensive problems, they get rid of Scott Linehan. The young Kellen Moore takes over this year. Maybe they're thinking to themselves, we'll keep Kellen Moore around or we'll clean house. Either way, maybe Jason Garrett stays and he takes over the play calling.
Okay.
I'm just saying it is a possibility.
I was in Kansas City a couple of weeks ago, guys. I wanted to go to this really hot barbecue place. I didn't have a reservation, didn't think I needed one, but I was like, let's go. I was telling my friend, like, we have to get there really early. Who knows how crazy it's going to be. There's a Chiefs game tomorrow.
Okay.
We get in. There's not even room at the bar. Nowhere. I didn't, like, I was like, nothing. Then I get back to the hotel, not having eaten dinner. Willie McGinnis, Steve Smith, they're like, we're going to that restaurant. I'm like, good luck. They go have a brilliant meal, a table, whatever. They show up late to the party and are seated. Isn't there something so awesome about Jerry Jones getting to take his time here? He gets to show up to the party late. He's not worried about tickets selling out to the Super Bowl party the night before the big game. He gets to walk in and everything works for him. If he wants Urban Meyer, he wants Matt Rule, those guys want that job too. They will likely wait. And no other teams seem to be going that direction, so he gets to take his time. He gets to wait to fire him. He gets to draw everything out, just like he gets to flex and do with Dak Prescott, which is unprecedented, just like with anybody. This is a master flex by Jerry Jones, getting to take his time, stroll up into the barbecue joint and get fed while I'm like, ordering top ramen from like whatever.
Here's the problem.
This is a true story.
What if Willie and Steven got into that restaurant and Teddy Bruschi and Randy Moss had already taken the table, meaning that Jerry has to hire a new coach,
Yes.
right? What if some of these great coaches get hired by some of his rivals while he's flexing?
Are the Giants hiring an Urban Meyer?
I don't know.
Or a Lincoln Riley?
Maybe the
No,
Panthers
they're
will.
not.
Maybe.
Or a Matt Rule.
What do you mean, no, they're not? How do we
I don't
know?
think they will. I think that they know who they're going for, and nobody's going to go after them. And maybe that coaching candidate knows, like, just chill and wait. We'll see. Do you want this job? And he's just puppet stringing this whole thing, Shriggs. What do you think?
It's amazing that Jerry could dictate his own timeline because he's Jerry Jones. The two names that keep coming up that are like other names, Dan Campbell, who's the tight ends coach of the Saints, and used to play for.
I remember his interim.
Of course, he was the interim coach for the Dolphins when they went a certain way. And the other name, Dan Campbell, was a tough guy, but the other one, and I don't know how this all plays out, whether they have to trade for him or whether they talk to the Vikings, but like Mike Zimmer had a really good experience in Dallas, so people are saying, well, Mike Zimmer might be available. He's waiting for
got a
Mike
game this
Zimmer.
weekend.
You're like, Mike Zimmer's coaching this weekend.
playoff game.
So there's so many different possibilities, and the fact that the Cowboys, who are America's team and are the spotlight, marquee name and everything, the fact that the four of us right now, and we're all informed in our own ways, are just giving different theories, is so Cowboys.
Yeah.
He doesn't play by the rules.
He is Randy
Jerry
Moss sitting
Jones.
at the table. They're the marquee team.
Well, the Giants are too, though. I mean, the Giants shop is awesome, and that one's fulfilled either. So that's why it's so intriguing, because that's their rival. Don't lose a coach. True that.
Drake, give me a timeline, any nugget. Like, do we know anything? We have no idea.
Jane's been sleeping at the facility. You think I know? No.
No, not sleeping, just up.
Just up.
No sleeping.
More Good Morning Football on the way. Top ramen while they're eating like kings.
I think you might have won that, Kay. Ramen plays.